Yes, it is. It's fine. Everything's fine now. Hello, everyone. Let me try that again. Good evening, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This is that D&D podcast, and we are back for another evening of one-shot adventure. Tonight we will be playing a little game called For the Queen. It's kind of hard to explain, so you'll just see it in action. Basically, we read cards and answer questions and figure out a whole bunch of stuff about a queen and about ourselves. So before we do that, let's go around and introduce ourselves, I guess, in turn order. So,
Sure.
hi, my name's Erin, she, her pronouns. If you've been around our Twitch channel for a while, I've been here since the beginning, so this whole thing may be familiar.
Hi, I'm Jason. They them pronouns. I'm designing a game and I'm on Twitter, and that's most of what I'm notable for, I guess. I'm also streaming now on Twitch TV. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I'm really out of it today.
I am Ash. This is my face. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a game designer and a streamer. And I am pretty fucking hyped to get to play For the Queen. I was saying before the stream, this is a game that is so good it makes me angry.
Games you can be angry at are a thing.
Like this and Donut County have been like my two like.
God, I need to play Donut County.
I played it with Charlie, and he thought it was the wildest shit in the world. Sorry, continue, Evelyn.
Okay. Hi, I'm Aveline. I use she, her pronouns. I write about tabletop role-playing games for the VRV blog. I think it's vrvblog.co. And you can find me at Waveline, W-A-H, Valine on Twitter.
Yep. For those of you trying to follow us, we have handy dandy name tags under our portraits with our Twitter handles. We live in the future and all that. So, as with most tabletop games, before you play, you want to have some familiarity with the rules. So, the way this game works is we, just as if we're playing the actual game itself, we go around and we take turns reading the rule cards. So, do you all have that handy?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to start with number 1, and then Jason will do 2, etc., and we'll go from there. So, 1, go around the table clockwise, taking turns reading these cards aloud.
2, the land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive.
The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power.
Oh no.
It's okay, I'll fix it.
It's very small.
Just click.
You can click on it, it'll go whoop.
Yeah. It goes whoosh.
Oh no. I dragged number 4 out of here, and now it's
now
not.
You can click on it, and double click on it should go big as well.
Just edits the token.
Hold on, I can recall it. No, wait, that's the wrong one.
Aaron, help.
Boop. It is returned. So just click once on the list of cards, and it should pop up big on your screen, and you should be able to read it.
Okay. The Queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey.
She chose you because she knows that you love her.
You are welcome to look through the Queen cards for inspiration. If there is one that seems right for the group, place it on the table to inspire your story.
Set the card that reads, "The Queen is under attack. Do you defend her?" aside.
Shuffle the red prompt cards and place them face down in the center of the table.
We're going to have them on the right side of the table because we're rebels like that. Put the Queen is under attack card in the middle of the deck for a game that takes approximately 30 minutes, or shuffle it into the bottom third of the deck to play for an hour or more.
When you have read the instruction cards, continue clockwise with the red prompt cards. Take turns reading the questions out loud. Interpret these questions and answer them however you wish.
Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn, but whether you answer those questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you.
Place the X card somewhere where everyone can easily reach it.
If you encounter a card or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game. Quick tip for this, since tapping won't work as well in electronic format, you can just say X or cross your arms or put your hand in front of the camera. Any of those will work.
Okay.
If you draw a card that is removed this way, simply draw another card. You can X a card that you drew yourself.
You can also pass on your turn. To do so, give the prompt card you drew to the next player and say, "I'd like to hear your answer to this question."
A prompt card can be passed around the table until someone applies the X card to it.
Continue answering, passing, and Xing questions until the queen is under attack card is drawn.
Each player should answer that question in turn, then the game is over.
Whoever wants to draw first, whoever wants to can draw the first prompt card.
So before we do that, let's on the second deck, the blue one, we have all the queens.
Yes.
Can y'all see those? Actually, hold on.
We can't choose from them.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them on the table, and we'll see if there's any that.
Do you want to just like draw us like a couple and like we'll choose, and rather than seeing all of them, we'll just choose from like a few.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that thing where it's like you get to choose, but like on any given playthrough, you're not choosing through the whole set because it tends to really bog stuff.
Yeah. So how about this? I'll give each of us 4. You pick the one you like the most out of your 4 and put it on the table, and we'll pick from those 4.
Sure.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Deal 4 cards to me and Evelyn and Ash and Jason. Boop. Ran out of cards. Hold. Okay. How many cards are there? That's. I guess
There's clearly 9. Let's just put like 3 or 4 on the table and we'll choose.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3.
Cool.
Middle one definitely has an evil kind of vibe, or like sinister.
Or just a warrior queen, yeah.
Yeah, just the posture definitely seems like confident and potential for murdery.
I mean, like, she could murder me, probably.
I'm a big fan of the right too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is anybody particularly partial to the leftmost one?
Nope.
Nah.
She is gone.
Goodbye, Your Majesty.
She was not our majesty. Hashtag not my queen.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, from here, which way is everybody leaning?
It looks like the queen on the right is scrapbooking, and I respect that. So I'm going to pick her.
Okay. She does look very pensive, and
About her scrapbook.
yes, she's wondering what pattern of paper cutout she should use on the next page, which is the collage for you.
I'm kind of more curious about how the game is going to interact with that particular queen, the one on the right.
Okay.
That's that. Yeah, same. Because like the way that the prompts tend to work, I like the additional softness and texture of that queen. Yeah.
Okay, so can you guys draw from the prompts card? Like if you mouse over it, does a card kind of
Yes.
poke at the top? Okay, cool. Does anybody particularly want to go first? If not, I'll go first, but I want to give somebody else the chance to take that and run with it.
I'm happy to go first.
Okay, go for it. And then we'll just continue around from you. So next up after you will be Aveline.
You suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations. What else do you believe is going on, and why?
Mhm.
Interesting.
The beginning of Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah, we're gonna get gassed. No. Hmm. Tricky.
And remember, you can always pass it to somebody else if you want to.
Yeah. No, I know, but
Okay,
like,
just yeah.
I think, I think that I suspect that this mission is actually less of a diplomatic negotiation and more of a Trojan horse. I think that I suspect that we are going there to perform some kind of potential violence or other similar sort of we're going to actually inflict our will on
Okay.
on the people that we're going to negotiate with.
So the
Whether,
negotiations are a ruse.
Yeah, I think that's my belief is
Okay.
that I think given the like when I look around at the people that have been brought, I get the sense that that this is not the people you would bring specifically if you were just trying to do peaceful negotiation.
A lot of swords, not a lot of scribes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
All right, Aveline, you're next.
Draw 1 cards.
Okay, you should be able to drag it from your hand onto the prompt thing.
Oh, gotcha.
In theory.
I drew a card. I'm bad at this game. I drew a card from the Queen deck.
Okay, well, look, just mouse over the red deck, and a card should
Mhm.
pop out the top, and you can just drag that onto the table.
There we go. Now I'm good at the game.
Hooray!
Who is this distant power you're traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy? I think we are going to open negotiations with the kingdom of those long dead.
Oh,
And it's maybe not fair to call them long dead in the sense that they're probably just undying, but they're pretty gross. And they have a pretty icky reputation for not really understanding or empathizing with the needs of people that do experience death in
okay.
a more traditional sense. And I don't really like them.
I suppose that's fair. Let's see. I will plop a card out. The Queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Why? Ooh. Hmm. So she trusts me because we sort of hold a mutual secret against each other. On a previous diplomatic journey to the lands of the long dead, she picked me up and brought me with her because I don't look long dead. And people in the court hate someone who has information that they don't have. So the queen trusts me enough to keep me around, even though she's about to theoretically commit this act against my former homeland. And I keep her trust by not selling her out. You're up, Jason.
Yep. When was the last time the queen hurt you? I'm just gonna X card straight off the bat. I'm not up for that right now. Sorry.
Okay, absolutely. Draw another card.
What do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey? See, that's interesting because it's not a what did you do, it's a what do you do.
Yeah.
I think based on what we've been saying so far on this journey to the lands of the long dead, that some of us suspect maybe some kind of secret forceful thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been a little bit too loud and vocal about the necessities of learning the language properly and pronouncing it properly and getting the small details of etiquette and so on down very carefully and perfectly to make sure that we make very good impressions.
Yeah.
And for some reason that hasn't been going down very well and doesn't seem like it's been welcome.
Okay.
And it does not make sense to me that would be disappointing, since as far as I know, that's what my job here is. But I can only do what I've been told I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Very fair. All right.
All right, so the queen thinks more highly of you than you do of yourself. How do you know this? I think my being on this journey is probably like evidence of that.
Mm-hmm.
I probably consider myself unworthy of this sort of thing. I think I've been on similar both similar diplomatic missions and also similar acts of similar acts of war, and I have a sense that I've failed pretty heavily on both fronts. I think I've been the cause of not permanent losses, but like things that have had to be retaken by the Empire.
Okay.
And I think I probably have a reputation. Like I probably among the retinue look like the failed old person, right? Like, or like the Benjamin Hornibrook, right? Like the like washed up. I probably was successful at some point in my early career, but since have made so many mistakes that why would anyone bring me on anything?
Yeah.
And yet here I am.
And why would you be one of only 4 people chosen to come with her?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, we can delete these cards as well while we're going if we want to keep it from like getting laggy.
All right.
Ooh.
You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does this worry you? Um, so I think the answer to both of these kind of ties together. I think I'm probably the one with like the least political experience in the retinue. Um, but the queen uh, treats me like I'm this fascinating new pet that she has. Um, and she likes to kind of show me off in some very patronizing kinds of ways. And so it's good that I have her favor, but also if I only have a reputation as being the queen's pet, then there's not a whole lot of social mobility for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's see. Next card is what makes the queen beautiful in your eyes? Hmm. You know, there was a day once where um, we were talking about things, and I was giving her a rundown of what was said in in the royal court when she wasn't around, and that sort of thing. And um, that's the day that I noticed her eyes. They're there's this intensity to them, and you can tell no matter where she's looking, it looks like she's looking through the things there. Like she wants to understand every single piece of everything, and the way her eyes kind of lingered on me was, um, I don't know, I felt seen and understood for the first time in a long time, and it kind of made me glad that I had come with her.
You are considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? I'm kind of interested to hear Ash's answer on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I love this card. I think um, I'm considered to be um, ruthless and craven and like heartless, um, without morals.
Hmm.
Um, and um, and I mean, like, probably with good reason. I think in my history, I think have um I think I have done things were uh that were obviously immoral, in the name of the queen. um uh I've killed civilians and children, um and I think that um the queen the queen comes to me for advice on certain like personal matters, which is like just small things, you know. What how does this person strike you? um do you think that I should intercede in this matter, or things like that? Just small things. Never not on like big decisions. um but it's enough to make me think that maybe she, like, unlike everyone else, she recognizes that maybe I'm used to having to make the hard calls. Yeah.
Do you ever get the feeling that she only views you as a sort of a blunt instrument to send towards a problem?
I think I get the feeling that she sees me as the like the nuclear option a lot of the time, which is strange. I think she seems to give off that air when we're talking about like what's my role, despite the fact that like I haven't the last 10 years, the last decade or whatever, I haven't been given any formal assignments.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. All right. I will bloop that card.
Also, I worked out that it was Benjamin Hornigold, not Hornibrook.
Oh.
Was the character I was thinking.
I'm bad
kind
with
of
names
horny.
anyway.
Yeah.
So does that go back to Jason?
No. So basically,
No, we just continue playing.
Yeah, it picks up
Oh,
from
cool.
whoever was
As
the
if
one
I
who
had thrown my
finally
card.
answered the question.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You think of someone in this retinue as the queen's favorite. Who and what makes you think this? So my last was that I thought that I might be the queen's favorite, but I think this one is really going to cast a lot of emphasis on the might in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Aaron might be the queen's favorite, because I can't seem to make sense of you being here otherwise. I think I have a lot. We're going to the lands of those long dead, and unlike most of the people here, I think I have like a lot of beef with them. And so since you are of their people, I can't really see as much value in you. I don't see you as being really alive.
Okay.
And as such, kind of not a real person.
So do you even think of me as a someone at that point?
I don't think it's quite the level of disdain of like a thing.
Okay.
But I think there's also quite a lot of projection of me being treated like the queen's plaything and wanting to think that, you know, there are others here that have less dignity than me.
Damn. Okay.
If the queen treats me like a pet, then you must be also the queen's pet or something
Right.
like that?
No, you must be like the queen's, like this sort of, this thing that she pities for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's a mystery to me, and I think I hate you for it.
Nice. This is gonna be great. You know, our one rule when we set out was no drama, and I just feel like you're messing that up. What do you usually?
I'm the one at the reality TV show that says I'm not here to make friends.
Ooh, yeah. I came here to tell the truth. What do you usually do for the royal family? Why does that make you an unlikely choice for this journey? So, I think the reason that people have started to suspect that I'm from the land of the long dead is that I'm usually the one who's sent to any kind of local negotiations we have where they need someone to act in a diplomatic capacity with the land of the long dead. And I try to, I try to discuss peaceful dealings and even when our kingdom isn't directly involved, I try and speak as well of the place as possible. And it kind of makes a lot of people question where my loyalty may lie. So it kind of makes me an unlikely choice for this place because, I mean, if it is a we're going to murder you surprise mission, then, I mean, I'm from here. I've been trying to talk this place up. It just seems a little weird.
Is your loyalty actually divided?
No, fuck that place.
Okay.
I was forced into my unlife,
Hmm.
and I would see that place burn before anyone else had to suffer the same fate.
Which does make you a very strange choice for a diplomatic mission, I guess, in practice.
I also do as I'm nicely asked by the queen.
Mhm.
Queen Pretty Eyes. Ooh.
What do you do that pleases the queen on this journey? I feel like my first instinct here is to go straight to, oh, we're sleeping together or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I think that's it. I think we're a traveling companion with an emphasis on the companion and less so on the traveling, which
Yeah.
might be a stranger choice to have come along.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So since we can ask questions, how long has this been going on, or is it like just for the length of this journey?
I think it's fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't think it started with the journey. I think it had just recently started.
Okay.
And coincidentally, I'm being brought along and I'm trying to prove that I have some worth aside from that as an advisor and as a consultant or a linguistic consultant or something.
Okay.
But I feel like I doubt that that's my actual role.
Do other people know?
Not that I know of. I feel like it wouldn't be my place to speak of it to anyone,
Okay, that's fair.
but I'm not going out of my way to hide anything. So I think it really comes down to what she's willing to open up to other people about. No, I guess that's the question, isn't it? Like, is she concealing it at all?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would be obligated to go along with
Yep.
whatever her approach to it is.
Hopefully, there's a card that asks if she's concealing whether or not she's fucking Jason.
I mean, well, that's the thing is, we're asking that question now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just being dumb. I feel like, I mean, she and I sort of confide in each other. So if she were to
That's
tell
true,
someone,
yeah.
I think it would be me.
I
And she's
definitely don't know.
Yeah. So, but she's also been asking Ash's advice on things, right?
Oh yeah,
So-
I totally was like,
Yeah.
fuck them.
Yeah.
What if I'm the only one that doesn't
Oh
know?
God,
I think
yes,
that's the situation. Yeah. That's exactly it.
yes, I love it.
I have one more question about this card. In the past, what fate has befallen the Queen's paramours when she's done with them?
Ooh, is it fuck 'em and then fuck 'em?
I feel like it's less dramatic than that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
Like, it has to be soft enough that I would have been willing to do it, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's probably some comfy but distant desk job or something.
yeah,
Like,
Keeper
not,
of the Swans.
yeah, not even in the palace, but in some more distant area where they don't have to do much, but they stay
Yeah.
out of the way.
You get some money, a small plot of land over there.
Yeah,
Please never come back.
yeah. Just don't bring it up again.
Yes,
I'm done now.
yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also had a question, which was, if I know, then what is the tactical reason that I would have advised to sleep with you? Like tactical or political? Like, why would I have said, yes, that's a good move for you as queen politic?
Why would it be a good move for her to do it?
Or for the state?
Yeah, or for the state.
Because I'm interested to see like
The flip.
because I think that gives us information about your background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I think I participated in the rebellion that brought her into power,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes me kind of useful in the sense that I'm personally loyal to her, but also suspicious in the sense that I'm not loyal to the institution of the monarchy.
Yeah.
I'm willing to turn against a monarch, and that helped her out once. So
Yeah.
She has
It'll
ways
make
of
me appreciate
securing
it
loyalty
then.
that money alone doesn't
Yeah.
get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can't buy disloyalty with money, only with genitals.
Yeah. I mean, it keeps the personal relationship,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it makes a certain amount of sense that way.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
All right. Any more questions, or I'll boop the card.
Boop the card.
Boop. It is booped.
The card. It is booped.
Ooh.
There is a false rumor about you and the Queen back at the Royal Court. What is it? How did it start?
What a good card.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of drama in these.
Yeah. I think there's a rumor that I'm like held in like poor regard, right? That the Queen secretly like really dislikes me. That the Queen thinks that like that there's this idea that the Queen sent me to deal with some simple situation, and that it resulted in in what is now called the slaughter of babes. Right.
Yikes.
I knew you were a lady killer.
And I think the way that it started was simply like that those events happened, and the Queen, as is her role, performed grief and all of these sorts of things. But I think when she assigned me on that to handle that, it was because she knew that she knew that it was likely to become complicated.
Okay.
So what was the political utility behind the slaughter of babes? Because there was clearly a reason, or at least it sounds like there was a specific reason why it had to happen.
Yeah.
Signed on it. It wasn't just some accidental thing.
I have a feeling that there was I don't think it was like a disease or a sickness, but a fundamental property of the people that we had brought into that we had conquered and brought, and like it was a relatively peaceful, like we show up with an army, like they lay down arms and they are brought into our empire. And then it was after that we became aware of the fact that there was a fundamental property about parts of their population that was incompatible at an existential level with our peoples. I have a feeling that it's something to do with the way that I don't think that that the people that we were interacting with have work in the same way that we are used to, in that like a person is grown, a person is born, they grow and learn, and then become a person, become an adult, and this is a single unit growth thing. I think there's a thing of like an adult is an amalgamation of absorbed smaller creatures, like younger ones.
Oh no.
And whatnot. And so inherently this or vice versa, there is a like the growth and development of this of any individual of these peoples requires the cost of life of others. Or not even life, but some element of the people, right? A child grows by absorbing some element from, I think it's a child grows by absorbing some element from the people around them, and that is a thing that is lost. And so those people were just basically deemed like you can't interact with us because otherwise you will eat us accidentally.
Yeah. We won't be us after you do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. What's the name of
Weird.
that kingdom that had those people who did those things? Is it a kingdom or was it just like a random
I think it was
hodgepodge of
probably
people?
I think it was probably like a loose before us, it was probably a loose collection of smaller states, right? Like chiefdoms or smaller. And so not all of them had this property. But I think they're probably the spring people because there's probably an important spring in the area, and that is part of their properties, and also why we needed to acquire that area, or wanted, whatever.
Imperialism.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Gotta love
Yeah.
it. All right. Anybody have any more questions? All right. Boop. Evelyn, time to floop.
Ooh. Wait, I'm flooping.
Right. I've done the boop. Now you floop.
Ugh. What
Ooh.
promise did the queen make to me before this journey? Do I think she'll keep it? So I'm thinking about like what role I have in this expedition, and I think I am the queen's pet, but I'm also like I'm not the queen's pet in like a romantic way or what have you. I think I'm like this. I think she might call me her champion, but like she has like a little half smile whenever she says it that makes it seem like she might be joking. But I'm like I fight on the queen's behalf. Like when there's like a duel that needs to happen, I'm the one that does it. And I think she promised me that I would be the marshal of her armies after this mission was over. And I think right now, I think she'll keep it, but I have a lot of fear that she won't. Like, I hope that she will, but I can't really act on the fear that she won't. I'm on this course and kind of politically hapless. And if she wants to screw me over, then she just will, and it'll suck. But I'm a pretty guileless weapon.
Okay. I mean, that seems straightforward enough to me. I don't have any questions. Anybody else got any?
Yeah. So, with you being the queen's champion and feeling like the queen's pet in that relationship, what does that make your relationship with, I think, me in particular look like? Because I know how that affect how you and Aaron get along in the sense that you don't. But is this something that like I would be also like would other people also be patronizing to you, or are we on more of an equal level?
I feel like if there's anyone that that has any regard for me at all, it would be you, because you were like part of the revolution that installed the queen, and I think I was probably either part of that or part of the establishment that quickly like betrayed the former regime for the queen. I think I was that one.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so I think if I have a like any kind of good rapport with anyone other than the queen, it's probably you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, let me boop this card. And we've been going for close to an hour. So what we'll do is...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, time flies. So what we'll do is we'll take like maybe like a 3-minute break or so, if that works for everybody. Go
Sure.
get some water, go run to the restroom, and then we'll come back and we'll start at the top of the turn order. Sound good?
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah.
Those of you in the audience, stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Okay, we are back. Thank you to those of you who stayed tuned, and to those of you who didn't, you will be put on the wall of remembrance, and you don't want to be on that wall. It's fine. So we are back at the top of the turn order, which means it is me. Oh, fuck. Okay. When
Meet cute.
when did you know you were in love with the queen?
You were running late for school, and then you tripped on a sidewalk, and you fell on top of her, and the boobs. And
Toast in your mouth.
And then
The
blood
blood
just
went
shot out of my
flying.
nose. So I realized that I was in love with her the day that she told me that she was sleeping with Jason. There was this feeling that I had never known before, like this all-consuming jealousy, and it was anger at first, and now it's diminished into a little bit of sorrow, and mostly it's the hope that one day I will be confident enough to tell her how I feel.
How has that affected your relationship with me?
Brr. I try to stay professional. Look, I'm sitting here trying to like, sell people on the land of the undying. I'm pretty good at putting on a bullshit face. So for her and for this mission, I will do whatever I have to. If it was you and me anywhere else, then probably wouldn't give you the time of day.
What is there a precedent for relationships between your kind and the living?
Not really.
Is that part of your reluctance?
I think it is. It's just the fact that it's just not done. So, regardless of how I feel, I don't want to bring that kind of shit down on her. She has enough
Sure.
trouble with ruling a country. I don't need her to have like, oh, this weird zombie lady loves me, whatever.
Is this a not done for us or a not done for the undying? Because if it's a not done for the undying, then that's probably one of the things that I've been reminding everyone that isn't done and that we must never do.
Oh God, that's grating.
I think it is something that she knows of from her visits to the land of the undying, but I think it is a tradition there to
Oh, good.
not take in outsiders.
Wink.
Yes.
Does the taboo of that make it more fun to think about?
Yes.
Okay.
So it hasn't been tested, but there is a very common theory that if one of the undying were to mate with a normal human, the undeath may be carried on to them, and the people in the land of the undying are like, by and large, they are very protective of their undeath. It is a resource that should be kept scarce and given only to those who are worthy, or to those that, certain people who are higher up decide that they want to keep around for whatever reason for long enough, whether they're worthy or not.
Every sperm is sacred.
Oh, God damn it.
It is.
Yeah, fair. Jason, you're up.
I am.
Iron Man.
There we go. The Queen gave you a compliment once. What was it? Oh no.
Okay, the way you phrase that was beautiful.
The comma doesn't have to be there, right? Like, it's there on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like you said it in like size 72 bold italic once. Okay,
Yeah, no, I
continue.
mean, like, given the
One
relationship
time.
between me and the queen, the fact that she has only given me a compliment once is a big fucking deal for me.
Yeah.
Mm,
Which means that if it stayed with me, it was definitely something unrelated to anything that I think I deserved a compliment for.
ooh, okay.
So it was probably
Sorry.
no, I think I know exactly what it was. It was a something that I interpreted as a sarcastic compliment. I was in the middle of telling a group of people that included Aaron about these prohibitions on relations between the dying and the undying. And of course, Aaron did not need to be told about that. And she complimented me for having been so thorough and specific.
Mm,
That sounds very
And
backhanded. Yeah.
yeah,
mm.
I love our queen.
yeah,
I just
I'm
had,
looking forward to this being over.
I just had an idea, and I'm hoping I get a card to thrust that
Mhm.
forward. We'll see. Um, so like in all of your time together, that's the only one you've ever been given from her?
Yep,
Damn. Okay.
yep.
I love her, but she kind of sucks.
Hmm.
She's not nice.
No,
Mm-mm. Queen sassy britches. All right. Ash.
Gonna do you boop it and I'll flip it? There we go.
Yes. Ooh.
The queen touched you once. What about that memory will stay with you forever? I think this was probably a moment where um I I think there was probably the moment where I broke, right? Um where the weight of my sins um you know upon my shoulders, like all in her service,
Mm-hmm.
all for the supposed good of the of our people, um broke me, and the touch is a hand on a shoulder, and that was enough. Not a word, not anything like that, just a recognition of like of like mutual understanding of like there are like of hey, it really sucks to be like a part of this machine that is doing these things in order for what is believed to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's making them. She's the one making those calls, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's just the recognition of like the mutual recognition of the weight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and I think what's interesting for me is um I can't know if she had the same experience of knowing that some of the calls that she made were like like in that moment, I knew that some of the calls I had made were wrong, right? Like the slaughter of babes did not need to happen.
Hmm.
It like there could have been other solutions, but it was a solution to our problem that needed to be dealt with quickly. And I think I know that. And I can't know if she also has that. I don't know if she also has that thing of like sometimes I've been wrong, or if she's just aware of it sucks to have to make decisions that are of that magnitude. But that's the ambiguity of that touch.
Do you think that she's ever going to touch you again, or do you think you're too unclean at this point?
I don't. As a tactical advisor, I don't think there's any reason to. There is, right? Like, like, it's not necessarily about clean or unclean. There is unlikely to be a situation in which that is a helpful thing.
Yeah.
Sure. Interesting.
All right, let me boop it. And now, Aveline, you can floop it.
The queen had me punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever? I think the second time I killed in her name. The first time was a rush. She had just named me an instrument of her will. I felt important. I felt needed. And the second time I crushed one of her enemies in single combat, I think I had too much fun and I gloated a bit too much and I made it too much about myself, clearly. And the queen, as well as the family of the deceased champion that I killed, felt that that was grossly inappropriate, and the family of the deceased the next day were allowed to flog me in the public square.
Damn.
And my shame from that moment is eternal.
So even after that, you think she'll still put you in charge of her armies when this is all done?
I think that there's never been a person that she has wanted me to kill that I have not killed. And I think that regardless of regardless of my image, regardless of anything else, I have an undeniable efficacy as a pure force. And I think that I think my only hope for any kind of glory or redemption or meaning is that she thinks that too.
Huh.
So you said the flogging was public,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, how public was the gloating and celebration?
Oh,
was
I
it?
think equally public. I think
Equally public, okay.
There was like a I think there are like disagreements in Parliament, let's say, that can't be resolved through pure diplomacy, and so champions are nominated. And
Yeah.
I, as the Queen's champion, have never been defeated. But in this moment, I push things way too far. Seems like a lot.
What brings out the queen's cruelty?
It's such an interesting card to get like later in the game.
Yeah, because we've had a few examples. I I think what brings out the queen's cruelty is I think it's basically just any instance where like the kind, well-reasoned um, course of action isn't easy enough. She doesn't seem to be willing to put in the work to find an alternative. If there is a village between her and her destination, she will never look at a map and go around. That village was just in the wrong spot, and those people will be remembered, I'm sure, by someone. So there you go. You're up, Jason.
Are we the baddies.jpg?
We got skulls on our helmets. Is that bad?
You're always
Wait,
the
so-
baddies in this game. Like,
So here's a question for Aaron. Do we literally have skulls on our helmets?
sorry. I have a suggestion. If
Yeah, go for it. Fire away.
I, it, I am thinking of like skulls, but not like European decorative skulls are very stark. Whereas if we're looking at like if we're not sticking to that, we can have Day of the Dead style like floral skulls, or there's a lot of imagery of like in I think Buddhism with like skulls that are still a bit meaty,
Mm-hmm.
but like decoratively meaty.
Decoratively meaty.
Like they like pink in the corners of the teeth and the eyes and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
I
think
think I probably have a helmet that looks like that.
yeah, and so my thing as someone who speaks in favor of and sometimes on behalf of the land of the undying, I think whichever hand I normally shake hands with people with, I have this. It's like a silk glove that goes all the way up to the shoulder, and it's black, and someone actually embroidered like the arm bones on it, so it looks like a skeletal hand. And
Hell yeah.
and whenever I'm actually doing my diplomatic stuff, if I'm speaking for the land of the undying, I have this little veil I put over my face, and it's like a skeletal lower jaw and the teeth and stuff, and you can see it move kind of from the breath from my mouth, but like you never see my lips move.
Hmm.
It's easier to lie that way. Hi, Jason, your turn.
Yep.
Ooh!
Fuck. Yes.
When did you know you would never forgive the queen, and why? This is tricky because there have clearly been a series of moments in which my regard for her was steadily compromised more and more, but I did not think that she was completely unforgivable until very recently, I think. Certainly not before we started sleeping together. Otherwise, I doubt I would have done that. So I think what Aaron described as the sort of there is a village in the way, oh, it's in the wrong place, we'll just go through it no matter what. I think that has happened on this journey. And I've never traveled with her before,
Mm.
so I wasn't aware that this was the way that she made her way through the world, but seeing it happen and participating in it once is all it took.
So when we had our "this village is in the way" moment, what specifically was it? Did she give you a command, or did she just like say something where you knew what she meant? And if like what did she tell you?
I don't think it was even that personal and dramatic of a moment. I think I had been called away for some reason. I was lagging behind because of a problem with what level of technology are we thinking here? Like horses? Are we riding horses?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I'm thinking Yeah, horses, carriages, that sort of thing would be my guess.
Horses, carriages. Okay. I was solving some brief and temporary problem with a horse or a carriage or something like that,
Hmm.
paying someone the fee for a ferry or some really routine travel task
Hmm.
that maybe should, I personally feel like someone else really should have been doing, but it was my day to be doing it, so I did.
Yeah.
And when I caught up with everyone else, the decision had already been made, and it was in the process of being carried out. And
Mm.
nobody asked me whether I had an alternative idea. It just happened as if, and the amount of thought that went into it seemed to be so brief that it was clear to me that it was for her very much a routine uh, act.
Yeah.
And that was it. It wasn't the act itself, it was that it was routine and that this wasn't a new thing, or I didn't have the impression that this was new.
Right.
Because when we put her on the throne, we never did anything like this, as far as I know, at least.
Um, so I mean, so due to the fact that it is four of us and the queen, uh, did she get her hands dirty too?
I,
I
I
assume there's blood on everyone else's hands also. I mean, I
in,
guess that's
in
up to
practice,
Probably a lot on mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably also a lot on mine.
Actually, you know what? I think probably this is probably a situation where like, yeah, you were Jason, you probably weren't consulted because I had already said that already
Yeah.
given Aveline the go, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that. I think that's probably the thing. Is probably I don't get in. I'm probably the one that makes those calls in these sorts of situations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Being like, like, Queen, yes, no, yep, cool. This is how we do it.
The minister.
This
of
is how the
murder.
sausage is made, right? Like,
So no blood directly on her hands, but I think that would make absolutely no difference to me whatsoever.
yeah,
That if it's done by the people immediately around her, there is no practical difference in terms of
Yeah.
whose hands got bloody.
Okay.
I now have the headcanon that I have the nickname the sausage maker.
I thought it was for a completely different reason.
Yeah.
I thought because I've had your cooking and it's good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I probably oversalt things these days because my taste buds
yeah.
aren't what they were. But
Have you ever
But for
tried to
sausages,
fry
that
your
works,
stuff?
right? Like you want a sausage to be salty. It makes sense that you'd have the sausage maker. And yeah.
yep.
Mhm.
What did you bring with you that endangers the queen? Fuck.
Ooh.
So I think my doubt I think I have a suspicion that I know what's going on, what the actual plan is, or what I'm going to be asked to orchestrate when we get there. And I don't think that we should have. I don't think that we should have what the Undying people have, and that we shouldn't take it. I think that the thing that I suspect the queen wants to do when we get there, which is to, in some way, seize the property of being Undying for ourselves. I'm smart enough to read Erin. I can see that distaste for undeath. And I've seen what I've seen what our people are like with only the life that they have. I think and so like I have this doubt that we are taking a step too far.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am endangering the queen just with my hesitation.
Ooh,
I don't have a problem with like
you brought doubt.
if it like if we have to like I don't know murder baby duck people as we get there or whatever, right? That's fine, but like I don't think we should get the thing we're trying to get, and that is enough.
Mm.
I think to put not just the queen. I think everyone in danger is like
Sure.
my whole like my whole value is in my make the decision now,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and to have hesitation makes me a liability.
So it's almost like what you didn't bring. Like you didn't bring your resolve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Look,
Love it.
whatever happens to you guys, I'll be fine. So, if that helps your decision making any, go for it. All right. Boop
Yeah.
and floop.
All right. What do you do for the queen that anyone else can do? And why does she make you do it? God, I have no dignity, huh? What do I do that anyone else can do? I think it's something physical and demeaning, probably. Like, I think that when she's getting ready, she makes me like hold a mirror up for her for like an hour or two, and I'm not allowed to move. And why does she make me do it? I think this is interesting because this isn't like my perception of it. This is truth. And I think she makes me do it because she genuinely likes to be around me. But I would never believe that.
Had she ever implied as such to you?
I feel like she probably has, but I've completely missed the implication. I think I'm so like I see myself entirely as a tool, and my assumption is that she sees me as such, and I think
Yeah.
it probably makes her a little bit sad when like she implies that like it's I am more at ease when you're around, and I'm like, of course, because you are safer, because I am strong and powerful.
Me good sword. Me protect.
Yeah. So I think I definitely don't pick up what the queen is laying down there.
Speaking of laying down there, has she ever made you do this after she and I have been together?
I don't think. Here's the thing. I don't think it's her intention to humiliate me. I think that she's just so used to like using people that like this is the way that she hangs out.
Okay.
So I think it's not that. I think it's actually like kind of an intimate thing for her in an emotional way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Bad sad queen time. All right. Next card. Boop. You arranged for the queen to be ambushed on this journey. What did
That's
they
so
offer
perfect.
you?
Judas.
This is so perfect. Like on this journey specifically, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, on this journey. You know, when you have eternity ahead of you, um, certain things kind of fall by the wayside. Like emotions are important, love is important, community, family. Um, Money and that sort of thing really don't matter. But um, the land of the undying, there is a nation to the north of them. They've always had sort of um, a tense kind of peace. It's like the undying never had the number to overwhelm them, and they never had the sufficiently advanced weaponry to find a way to kill someone who can't die, sort of thing. So it's like, all right, we're gonna look at you from over this mountain and whatever. Um, they approached me after a diplomatic summit, and um, they said they had reason to believe that the Queen sought not diplomatic, uh, you know, change, but a change of leadership in the land of the Undying, and she saw herself in the throne, regardless of who made it to help her get there. Um,
Hmm.
and they figured that would be more of the same. And given her cruelty, it would probably not be a great thing for the rest of the world. So they offered me um, their assistance in helping to destroy the land of the Undying after the Queen was dealt with.
Dang.
That's the way it goes. She should have loved me back. She should have known I love her.
I shouldn't have to tell her. She should just know.
Exactly. That's how feelings work, right?
God, you're a hashtag nice guy here, aren't you?
Mm.
The queen is not your queen. Why do you serve her anyway?
Interesting.
I think, I mean, technically, my queen was the queen that I participated in overthrowing.
Oh.
For me, she's someone who happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
Like, the intent of the uprising was never to put her on the throne specifically, but in the course of the fighting, she happened to be the person with the strongest claim. She was useful, and it fell to her.
Mhm.
And I think the reason I serve her is that I the fighting during the uprising went out of control. There was a plan. We followed the plan to the extent that we could, and things went wildly off track anyway. And that process of wanting to do the right thing and having the actual outcomes be completely beyond your power, for quite a long time, made me want to just sit back and obey and let things be as they were.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been worth taking risks on that scale to change things. That it's up until very, very recently, and I'm qualifying this still, it hasn't been worth the possibility of that kind of bloodshed happening again to not serve her. But if it's happening anyway, then I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought I had a question, but it left me. So, anybody
Goodbye
else?
question.
Yes. You will be remembered when it's too late. Oh shit.
Um. eh,
Is that an X card face?
Not specifically. I'm just trying to work it out.
Okay. Well, why don't you read it so the people at home.
Sorry, yeah. The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who? What happened? I think that my father was he was a loyal man. He believed deeply in doing what was right he believed deeply in doing the greater good, in protecting in that I think he served in the military in a more official than whatever I came to be.
Mhm.
I think I ended up being what's the word, like engineers or whatever, where it was they're actually secretly spies and things like that, but like I think he was official. He served honorably. He understood sacrifices are needed to be made for stability and order, and he was loyal to the old regime.
Oh.
And when the time came and the old regime was no longer the good of the people, and I did what I was raised to do and joined in installing new power that would be for the good of us all. And he did not bide his tongue. He used his position of authority and previous influence to foment trouble, right? Not because he was trying to make trouble, but rather he was an old man who was set in his ways and wasn't quite aware of the damage that words can do. From his perspective, damage is done by swords. And so I hung my father. I testified against my father in a court of inquisition, and he was found guilty. My testimony was unarguable, and he hung.
Okay.
Damn.
Did the queen demand you do any of that, or was that all of your own volition?
I don't think it needed to be a demand.
Okay.
I think it needed to be it needed to be a deal with this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I could have worked out some other solution. I could have shut him up. I could have had him shipped off to the countryside or whatever. But that was probably the point at which I lost my reputation as a hero of the revolution and started to get a bit of a name as a butcher.
The Robespierre slump.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you miss him?
Yeah. Yes. But at the same time, it's that thing of everything that I value from him, I carry in myself. I don't think he was ever a comforting person or a person that I found pleasant to be around even. But he was a person that I admired greatly, and so that admiration was things I carry with me. And I think now I like later on, much later on, I question the way that I handled that situation.
Do you see yourself doing the same thing as him under the same circumstances?
I'm doing it now, right? Like we're literally like the last question I answered was like, do you think that like questioning the authority because I don't because my own thoughts on how things should be run have finally gotten to me, right? Like we've gone a step past what I consider the like we've stepped beyond the pale,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like for my father, overthrowing the previous monarchy was the step beyond the pale, right? And I think trying to seize immortality is that for me.
Cool.
What's
But
wrong?
I have no children.
Mm. Yeah. Yet.
That you know about. Yeah.
Weird twist, but okay. Flute. You were summoned to a private meeting with the Queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterward?
This is a fairly like compared to a lot of the others, this one's very wobbly.
There's a lot of dimension to this one.
Yeah. A lot of space.
Yeah. I think I feel like I have a lot of private time with the Queen being her mirror holder. But I think that one of the times that she summoned me, like it was not not explicitly as a servant, like she had servants attend me. And I think that she wanted to clarify that when she referred to me as her champion, she was not referring to my skill with the blade. And again, I think this is another example of the Queen and I being like parallel lines that are like not understanding each other. Because like, I think to her that was like a pretty transparent, like as much as she gets of like, you are important to me, and for me it was, I don't think you're as good of a swordsman as you think you are.
Ouch.
And it was, I think there's a thing where like the Queen and I are drawn to each other, but whenever we speak, we come away sadder than when we met. So we're just like bouncing off each other in this kind of falling down a long staircase of a relationship.
That is a phrase I don't think I've ever heard for a relationship.
I'm a writer.
It's good. I like it. All right. Let's see. Why do you think the Queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey?
That's so good considering like
everything, considering
Mhm.
everything. Um, so there was a journey we went on together. It was a small retinue like this one.
Mhm.
And at some point on the road, we were attacked. They killed like two of the people who were guarding, and the queen and I were in a carriage. Um, and there was a point where she saw me pull out a dagger, and I meant to use it to defend her, but she had this look in her eyes, and she looked me over the way she does, and then finally she understood I wasn't going to kill her. And I hopped out to help fight off the bandits. And afterwards, we had a little private moment where she said, you know, my life was in your hands, and you proved to be someone worth holding that, and I trust you.
Mhm.
She says, if there was ever a better time for you to betray me, I can't think of what it would have been. So, yeah.
So here you are taking your second best chance.
You can't come at them when they're expecting it, because that's when they're expecting it. Boop.
Okay. What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey? I'm not having any good ideas about this one.
Do you want to pass it off to someone else?
Yeah, you want to take a shot at it, Ash?
I will pass it forward
Okay.
to Aveline.
Okay. Hmm. What is something I do for the royal family that has prepared me well for this journey?
Because I think you've got such an interesting position in that way.
Sure. So I think I'm as the Queen's champion. I'm pretty uniquely suited to uh, a mission that is diplomatic because I have a ceremonial position. I am a duelist in the employ of the Queen, and it would make sense given the customs of our empire that she would take me along. Um, but I am also, one of the most peerless warriors in not only our empire but sort of uh, our time, and the it's almost walking into this diplomatic meeting with me is like walking in with a naked blade, but people can't really call her on it. Um, so even if we don't go through with what our plans are, I'm still like a very intimidating uh, thing for her to have brought along. So I think that's what makes me well suited.
Oh shit, is it my turn again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Looks like it, yeah.
Sometimes I forget how things work.
Things.
Things.
You have a personal connection to the land you're currently traveling through.
Really?
What? What makes you want to stay, and why don't you?
Love that question.
Brr. I feel like that's too easy for me. So, Jason, what's up? That's yours.
Well, hmm. I'm not from here. I speak the language. And it's a personal connection.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I wonder if I just studied here.
This
The-
is my college town.
Yeah, no, strange though it is, I'm from our place, whatever it's called, but when I went to university, this is where I studied, and I have a lot of fond memories from that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was it a university education or did you
Yeah.
come and study under a master?
No, I think this was a very like upper middle class, not even upper middle class, upper class standard for our time and place university education. It was properly done. It was formal. I read all the right books, uh, met all the right professors,
Mhm.
and had a came out of it with a very high regard for the place. Not in the sense that they're better than us or anything, but I see the people who live here as equals because I sort of lived as an equal, or think of myself as having lived as an equal.
Mm-hmm.
In practice, I was still a wealthy student who wasn't really intimately involved in the local community or anything. So there's still that sort of distance, that bubble.
Yeah, is it a thing where you feel more connected to the place than the place feels connected to you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I don't stay. That I have this idea of it in my memories that I would love to stay in, but that place doesn't exist now, if it ever
Yeah.
did. And there isn't really a place to stay in for that reason.
You can never go back to college.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
like, did the fact that you are mortal, like, what was the cultural effect of that
Ooh.
difference?
I think it was far less than it would have been if I wasn't from a wealthy background. I think I was insulated from the cultural difference to
Yeah.
a great degree.
Yeah.
That I wasn't existing in this place as a foreigner in it. I was existing in it as a person of a common class of the people who I was around.
Yeah.
So that was the cultural differences were curiosities to everyone involved.
Was your time at college how you figured out that the people in the land of undying have a bit of a stigma against relations with mortals?
Oh yeah, 100%. I definitely tried and got shot down hard
Okay.
several times.
They're just like, it's not done. You do what? Ew. No. What? No. Ew.
With
Oh, yeah,
you?
and of course, no, and I'm there as like a 19-year-old thinking, well, okay, it's got to happen sometime. We're all students here. It'll work out if I keep at it. But no, this genuinely is not a thing.
Mhm.
Who would have thought?
Nice.
Okay.
Ugh. Ugh.
The Queen sometimes shows interest in your personal life. How do you respond to that? My personal life is quiet and sad. um,
God,
my personal life involves a battle against alcoholism. Like, my personal life is not good. I imagine that she probably, I like to imagine that she feels some sort of connection to me or similar, maybe because of a sense of responsibility, perhaps.
Mhm.
But she, like, an interest in my personal life is asking after how I am.
Mhm.
that's it,
Mhm.
right? She, the fact that she shows any interest in like my well-being at all,
Mhm.
um, and I think that's the thing that keeps me not sober, but not in the gutter,
Mhm.
and like straight upright, doing my duty, right? The fact like I have like there's a continuing sense of like loyalty and um and duty,
Mhm.
partially because she continues to check in on me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um and that's why like I haven't said anything about the fact that I think that what we're doing is a bad idea, or what I think we're doing. I don't even know what I think we're doing is a bad idea, right? Is I'm like that we have to if anything strays from the current path, I and everything from my perspective falls apart.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my response is to do my duty.
Sorry.
Mm. God, I feel like with the character that I built, no matter what I say in the first half, the answer to the second half is yes. Like more. I saw her do. You saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? Did you come to respect her more or less afterward? Hmm. Trying to find an answer to the first half that makes the second half less. I think something terrible isn't necessarily something unconscionable, because I think we've demonstrated ourselves to be a brutal and direct people. Um, I think the terrible thing that she did um, was to pretend to be someone other than she wasn't. Perhaps we were going through a security checkpoint somewhere in a nation that we weren't welcome, and it was her orders that she was not to be referred to as the Queen or Her Majesty. That she was maybe like a tailor or something, and then we should treat her as such. Um, and I think that rubbed me the wrong way a lot. I think that my idea of the queen is so wrapped up in the institutions of our empire and the strength of our um, nation, and to see her like disavow herself like that was shaking to me.
What part of this journey will be the most difficult? How do you pull the rest of the retinue through it?
Yeah, Aaron.
Um, I think the most difficult is going to be knowing that in the next day or so, regardless of which way it goes, I won't see the queen ever again.
Hmm.
And how do I pull the rest of the retinue through it? Um, I do what I do best. I lie. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to worry about. This mission is going splendidly. It's smooth sailing. It's been smooth sailing so far.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Mostly. Smooth sailing asterisk.
Except for those times when it wasn't.
Smooth sailing for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We sail smoothly on a sea of blood.
Oh. Here we go. And on perfect timing, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
The queen is under attack. Do you defend her?
Okay, so the way this goes is Jason, you answer, and then we go through, and then, go around the circle. Everybody answers the question.
So my initial temptation is to say no. Like everything we've said up to this point is telling me no, obviously not.
Right.
She's terrible, it's all awful. But in the moment when the ambush happens, I don't know that I have the presence of mind to. I think I do at first. No, I take that back. I don't. I defend myself.
Mm.
I defend myself. I think I might just abandon the rest of the group entirely and start making my own way back.
Nice.
No concern for what happens to the rest of them.
Yeah.
They deserve what they get.
When danger reared its ugly head, they bravely turned their tail and fled.
Well, no, when danger reared its ugly head, they got what was fucking coming to them.
Yep.
They brought this on themselves. I did, to the extent that I participated. I don't want to participate anymore, and I can choose to do that.
That's fair. It's never too late to object.
I don't think I should, but I do.
Love that.
I think I do not know. I think I should do something else, but I don't know how to do anything other than the service.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I do.
All right. Aveline.
I of course I defend her. That's the only time that the queen and I understand each other is when she asks me to kill. I would, if the queen asked me to kill everyone else in the world, leaving just the two of us, I would not hesitate. So of course I defend her.
Okay. So I mean, obviously, I'm not going to. And I think what happens is, at least for me, when I mean it's we are vastly outnumbered when this group comes, I think, and I pull a dagger, and then there's like this quick furtive glance between all of us, and I charge off towards these guys, and then at a certain point, I slow down, and then I turn around and start walking with them behind me. And then
There's like a big dramatic musical cue.
Yeah, and I think before whatever happens, I think I just say you're not worthy of unlife. And then I don't know. End. Season 2 to be continued.
I mean, so do the rules say like what happens depending on? Because
Let me see. Each player should answer this question, and then the game is over. It doesn't say you have to.
Okay, yeah, right, cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, each player answers the question in turn, then the game's over. So we all have
Yep.
our own little personal interpretation of what it is.
Yay. Yep.
God.
Boop. All right. So
That was rad.
I like this game a whole bunch. Thank you to those of you in the audience who tuned in. Thank you to the three of you for coming to play. I had a lot of fun. I'm glad we were able to make this work in our schedules. And I guess let's go around and do outros, and we'll go the same order except start with Jason, and I'll do the final outro and do the podcast sign off and stuff.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm on Twitter and Twitch as Manixur, Manixur. I'm designing a game, sort of a queer myth punk game called Stand Defiance. We played a campaign of it on this channel actually. So if you go to my Twitter page, I've got the videos pinned, so you'll be able to find it that way if you want to. And yeah, that's it for me.
Cool.
I've been Ash. I am a game designer and also a streamer. And you can find me on Twitch playing video games and sometimes also role-playing games. And Twitter and Patreon if you want to support the games that I make. You can find me in all those places at Acegiak, Acegiak. And thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. I am Aveline. I write about role-playing games for the VRV blog, vrvblog.co. And I'm in the very early stages of making a role-playing game that's trying to capture the sort of queer hypersexuality and batshit pathos of anime fan fiction. And as soon as I get that in a more playable state, I will let y'all know on my Twitter at Waffling. I believe it's on the screen. Yeah.
When that's ready for play testing and streaming, let me know. I know some people who would want to play that. Also,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so I guess I got 2 outros to do. I'll do mine and then the podcast one. So I'm Aaron. If you want to watch me post selfies, post pictures of food I ate, post pictures of pets and family, flirt with people, and interact with a bunch of game design people, you can do so on Twitter at theroadvirus_. You can watch my streams at twitch.tv/theroadvirus. There's underscores between the words. And if you want to help a trans lady pay for surgery, you can do that too at gofundme.com/AaronGetsGRS. And now for the podcast part of things, thank you for tuning in to another one of our sessions. We always appreciate it. Be sure to follow and hit that little notification thing if you like what we do, and come in here tomorrow, but half an hour earlier, and I'll be kicking off a short run Blades in the Dark campaign. I'm trying to do a thing with the scheduling for it. We'll see how that goes. And we usually do streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. So tune in Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I think they're maybe spinning up a Star Wars campaign. And you can find us at Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, and Gmail at just that DnD podcast, letter N and not an ampersand. Look, you're at the Twitch page. You know what it's spelled like that. Thank you again for your support, and a little piece of advice that I will leave you with. Embrace the concept of the dark shower. If you're ever having a bad day, turn off the lights, turn the shower real hot, get in the thing. It is very good. If you can incorporate also having a cold beer or some sort of drink of your choice, hopefully with a bottle you can put your thumb over the top so it doesn't get made entirely into hot water, it's a very good experience. That's it. See y'all later.